What do a piece of sweaty fabric and a luxury mansion in Malibu have in common? For 99% of the world, absolutely nothing. But in the ultra-rich market, a match-worn jersey can be worth more than your entire life. Today, we're not talking about simple souvenirs. We're talking about financial assets disguised as sports. Get ready because these are the most expensive football objects in history. We start with a piece that defies the logic of physics. In 2012, Lionel Messi decided that scoring goals was too easy and netted 91 in a single calendar year. This jersey isn't just fabric. It's the uniform of a man who broke the statistics of the beautiful game. For $450,000, you could own a constant reminder that you will never be as efficient at your job as he was. A small price to pay for owning the proof of absolute perfection. Number 9 transports us back to an era when football was made of tough leather and VAR didn't exist to ruin the controversies we love so much. We are talking about the official 1966 World Cup final ball. For the average citizen, this is just an old, worn-out leather sphere, but for a collector with an 8-figure bank account, it is the most controversial object of the 20th century. This ball was the protagonist of England's famous ghost goal against West Germany. A shot that hit the crossbar, bounced on the line, and changed the history of an entire nation forever. While historians continue to debate whether it went in or not, a billionaire decided the answer was worth exactly $500,000. Imagine spending $500,000 on an object that represents the greatest headache for German referees. That is the price paid for owning a fragment of historical doubt turned into an absolute luxury asset. At the end of the day, on this channel, we know there is nothing more expensive than the truth, especially when that truth is inflated with air and is over 60 years old. If there is one name that makes auction houses like Sotheby's rub their hands together, it is Diego Armando Maradona. At number 8, we have the jersey that El Pelusa wore in the 1986 Mexico semifinal against Belgium. In that match, Maradona didn't just play football, he put on a display of physical and mental superiority that left the Belgian defenders looking like statues of salt. While the world watched a genius in his purest state scoring 2 brilliant goals, a visionary with excess liquidity saw an unbeatable investment opportunity. This garment sold for $550,000, a figure that for most would buy a comfortable house, but in the world of ultra-luxury barely covers a piece of fabric with the number 10 on the back. The fascinating thing is that the value doesn't lie in the quality of the polyester, but in the DNA of victory that seems to emanate from its fibers. It is the ultimate fetish for someone who already has everything. The right to say that the sweat of football's greatest legend rests in their private display case. Spending over $500,000 on a jersey is the most elegant way to tell the world that your passion for the sport is only surpassed by the size of your wallet. We are entering a category where value is no longer measured just in dollars, but in myths, conspiracies, and precious metal. The Jules Rimet Trophy is the holy grail of sports memorabilia. For the uninitiated, it's a gold statuette representing the Greek goddess of victory, but for the football world, it's a magnet for chaos and fortune. It has been stolen in London, rescued by a dog named Pickles, hidden from Nazi armies in a shoebox under a bed, and finally it vanished in Brazil in 1983, allegedly melted down by thieves who didn't understand that its historical value far outweighed the weight of the gold. Owning an original recovered piece or one of the extremely rare certified vintage replicas carries a base price of $750,000. It is the ultimate symbol of global power, an object that has triggered more international police operations than any other piece on this list. Spending $750,000 on this trophy is the most direct way of saying that you are not just wealthy, but the guardian of a relic that entire nations have wept for losing. At What the Rich Do, we understand that true luxury isn't what you can buy, but what others cannot recover. If you've ever wondered who invented the concept of the celebrity footballer, the answer lies at number 6. Before multi-million-dollar contracts and social media, there was George Best, the fifth Beatle. This Manchester United jersey isn't just sports apparel, it's the uniform of football's first global media superstar. George Best was a man who personified excess, elegance, and talent wasted with style. And his jersey has become an investment piece that today reaches $800,000. For a collector, this fabric represents the birth of football as a global spectacle and the transformation of the player into a fashion icon. It's fascinating to think that someone is willing to pay nearly $1 million for a shirt that represents a man who famously said, "I spent a lot of money on booze, birds, and fast cars. The rest I just squandered." Owning this piece is embracing that extravagant lifestyle philosophy. It's an asset that screams old money and British sophistication in every stitch. At the end of the day, paying $800,000 for Best's legacy is the only way to ensure that his indomitable spirit and playboy lifestyle live forever in a climate-controlled display case in your mansion. We enter seven-digit territory with the man who, for many, finally completed the game of football. This jersey isn't just a garment, it's the armor Lionel Messi wore in the tournament where he finally reached his ultimate destiny in Qatar. In the world of ultra-luxury, narrative is everything, and there is no more lucrative redemption story than the Argentine star's triumphant last dance, a tale investors are willing to pay dearly for. For $1.1 million, a collector isn't just buying polyester. They are acquiring an asset that symbolizes the culmination of an unprecedented career. At What the Rich Do, we know this is the kind of trophy that only appreciates with each decade, becoming the sports equivalent of a blue chip on the stock market. It's the price of owning a piece of the most perfect and high-profile finale in modern sports history. At number 4, we don't have a jersey but the holy grail of leather, the match ball from the very first World Cup final in 1930. This object doesn't just represent a match between Uruguay and Argentina. It represents the birth of football as the global and lucrative phenomenon we know today. In an era before multi-million-dollar contracts, this leather ball was FIFA's cutting-edge technology. Its $4.2 million value doesn't lie in its rustic materials, but in its status as the Big Bang of the beautiful game. Owning it means owning the first chapter of history, an asset that, unlike any currency, only becomes more valuable with every passing century. On the bronze step of our podium of excess, we find the armor of O-Ray. This premium version of the jersey Pelé wore in the 1970 Mexico final isn't just a piece of fabric. It's the physical testament to the moment football became art. Pelé solidified his legend as the greatest of all time in that tournament. And today, collectors are willing to shell out between $5 and $7 million for this trophy. At this level, you aren't buying a souvenir, you are acquiring the sports equivalent of a Picasso or a Rembrandt, but with the advantage that you can display it in a bulletproof case that screams success to anyone who enters your private office. It is the ultimate asset for the investor who knows that a king's value only increases when time tries to erase his footprints. If you thought a single jersey was a luxury, number 2 will make you question your concept of wealth. This is the complete collection of the 6 jerseys Lionel Messi wore during his epic path to the 2022 Qatar title. Sold for the astronomical sum of $7.8 million, this set is basically the visual diary of the greatest sporting feat of the 21st century. Every fiber of these garments holds the narrative of a man who refused to retire without ultimate glory. And for the ultra-rich, owning the full set is the definitive way to say, "I own the final chapter of history." It is an investment that not only secures capital, but grants a status that no other object in the world can replicate. Don't blink, because we are looking at the most infamous, desired, and debated garment on the planet. This is the blue jersey Diego Armando Maradona wore in the 1986 quarterfinals against England, the match that turned him into a demigod. For some, this fabric represents the greatest cheat in history. For the ultra-rich, it's a $9.3 million investment opportunity that encapsulates both chaos and genius. It is the epitome of sports pop culture, an object that condenses politics, national revenge, and supernatural talent into a single piece of worn fabric. Owning it isn't just an obscene luxury, it's having physical control over the most controversial, cinematic, and symbolic moment football has ever produced. In a world of copies and replicas, this is the item that separates mere millionaires from the true owners of world history. If you've made it this far, I assume you possess the refined taste required to join our select minority. Admission to the club is free. Simply subscribe. Do it now. To make your mind your most valuable asset, I have personally selected these 2 valuable recommendations for you. Knowledge is the only luxury that pays no tax. See you at the top.